Hey, what it do, baby boo? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a few strategies that Rush used to get to Challenger on the Korean solo queue ladder with a 78% win rate, which is freaking ridiculous. A few of these strategies I use myself because I'm a jungle main, and I was able to reach at least Master for the past few seasons. But more specifically, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 key strategies that Rush uses to win games on a consistent basis within 25 minutes, which is ridiculous. So if that is something that you're interested in, then keep watching. When I first started playing the good old League of Legends, I started in Bronze 4 and I sucked dick. I was terrible. It was actually ridiculous how terrible and toxic I was at League of Legends. And I started watching Nightblue when he was a educational whatever content creator. RIP. RIP to the butter. I started playing Kha'Zix. I mained Kha'Zix jungle. So I created a Smurf after watching Nightblue and I got placed in Silver. It only took me 3 weeks to get to Diamond. I went from Silver to Diamond in 3 weeks. After reaching Diamond, I got to a point where I hit a slump and my ego was fucking huge. I thought I was the man at League of Legends. And then I met, in real life, I met a Korean dude who was Challenger. He lived like 10 minutes away from me. And obviously, you know, when you meet someone like that and he lives so close to you, you want to pick his brain. So essentially this dude became my coach for whatever, at least 2 months. Me and my Korean coach, whose name's Sungho, and he's actually serving in the Korean military right now. He taught me everything that there is to know, at least that I know now, about jungle. And he actually taught me a few of these key strategies that are mentioned in this video. I was able to teach myself these strategies with Sungho's help to help me get to at least Masters within the past 3 or 4 seasons. And I actually got to Challenger last season. But not only that, because who fucking cares if it's just one person, I was able to teach these strategies to tens, if not hundreds, of my coaching clients that I teach how to play League of Legends. They were able to experience super similar results where their freaking elo just shot through the roof. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the educational content.
The first strategy that Rush uses and that a lot of high elo people who are in Masters and Challengers and a lot of Korean solo queue players use is they do what I like to call a pre-game analysis. And this is something that you can do for your next, games that you play, and it's super simple. What a pre-game analysis is that before the game actually starts, you need to look at your champions and the people on your team, and then look at the enemy team's champions and their matchups and all that shit, and analyze exactly what's going to happen, where the strengths lie, where the weaknesses lie, and all of that stuff. Specifically, the questions that you need to be asking yourself is 1. What are our team comp's strengths? 2. What are our team comp's weaknesses? 3. What are our enemy team comp's strengths? And 4. What are our enemy team comp's weaknesses? The reason why you do this, the reason why this strategy is so fucking important, I don't want to swear too loud because my parents are outside, they'll probably tell me to shut up, is because for a lot of people, especially in low elo junglers, so if you're watching this and you're bronze, silver, gold, I'm guessing you jump into a game when you're playing jungle and you have no fucking idea what to do. You have no clue whatsoever. You go in and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do some farming over here, blah blah, and then I'm gonna go middle top. I guess, enemy jungle ganked bot, I might as well keep farming, blah blah, and you have no idea what to do. The reason why this pre-game analysis is so good is because now you know what to do. Like, let's take this particular example for this game, okay? We have Nidalee, Vlad, MF, Shen, and Na versus GP, Sedge, Corki, and these two. If you do the process that I'm talking about, the pre-game analysis, you'll find a few things. First off, mid lane is pretty much no ganks, okay? Corki versus Vladimir, you essentially have no gank potential. There's no CC to work with. Corki has a W. So the only way that you're going to have fights around the mid lane is if you catch him slipping, like, Corki's super far up and he's half health or whatever, or if Sejuani comes for the gank, okay? Because there's still potential that they could get a gank mid at some particular time, because Vladimir has no escape skills except for his W, which leaves him super vulnerable and super open to ganks, okay? On the top lane matchup, same thing. You're probably not going to be able to get a gank on GP, because I believe that with this matchup, Na versus GP, he's just going to pressure GP into the turret. So it's the same thing. He's going to be pushed up, and the only time that you can have a fight around here is if GP pushes up somehow, which is probably not going to happen, or if Sejuani comes for a gank top lane. And then bot lane, there's really good gank potential. You look, you have a slow from MF, you have a taunt from this bitch, and then you have 2 relatively short-ranged people with no escape skills. Specifically, Tahm Kenchi's got no escape, but he's quite tanky. And then Jhin, he has to come up to the wave to farm it. Maybe not as much as like a Vayne or some shit, but he still has to come up to the wave, and you have 2 CC people to work with. With that being said, you now have a strategy. You can counter gank top and mid if Sejuani goes for it. And if she doesn't go for it, all you have to do is ward up and protect these guys, and you go for a gank bottom. You can, completely shut down bottom, and that's, one way that you can start the snowball. Essentially, like, the summary of this particular strategy is that you need to do an analysis of both your team comp and the enemy team comp, and then from that analysis you create a strategy to play towards when the game starts. This requires a bit of matchup experience and a bit of champion knowledge and all that stuff, which I'm not going to talk about in this video because that's too extensive of a topic. But yeah, that's the first thing that you can do, is that before your game starts, start analyzing your team comp, the enemy team comp, with those 4 questions that I talked about, and create a strategy from those 4 questions for you to play towards. The second strategy you should be using if you want to close out games fast as fuck is watching the minimap while you're jungling. It's super simple. All you do is that while you're farming like this, blah blah blah, while you're doing stuff like this and you're taking your jungle camp, you take, half a second to just geese out the lanes. The reason why this is so important is because there's honestly a wealth of knowledge that is, available to you if you take the time to stop and have a look at it. And I'll explain further. This particular game, is won within 7 minutes. And this is one of the reasons why. If you look at the minimap while you're jungling, you know right now that these guys got to lane super fast. So look, we look at the minimap while you're doing all your stupid shit. You look at this and like, wow, these guys got to lane really, really early. That means that they didn't leash blue. Because if you look top as well, Gangplank's late to lane. Look at this. See, while you're running, while you're doing this, going from camp to camp, you have so much time to just look at the lanes. Gangplank's late and these guys were early. We can deduct, or deduce, whatever the word is, that Sejuani started at red. And because we know that Sejuani started at red, her jungle pathing is probably going to end up on the bot side of the map to get her blue buff. I highly doubt she's going to go 1, 2, and then gank, or red Raptors, then top, or red boom, and then top. I highly doubt she's going to do that. She's probably going to do a standard pathing like red, maybe Raptors, but she's going to end up on the bottom side of the map. And you know this. You know her jungle pathing without any wards whatsoever. You know exactly where she started, and you know the exact position that she's going to end, simply for the fact that you took the time, half a second or a second, to look top and bot. Sorry, top and bot. And it's super simple. All you do is while you're doing this, so we look top. See, these are Rush's pings here. I think he pinged this side of the map. So once again, you're farming away, you farm away, and you look top, you look bot, mid, and top. Especially after you do your level 3 gank. Because we know Sejuani is on the top, she started on the top side of the map. She's probably over here somewhere right now. That means that these lanes, 1 and 2, they're not susceptible to ganks. Because she's probably doing a red buff. Definitely top lane isn't susceptible because Sejuani's over here. And definitely bot lane isn't susceptible because they're pushed under turret. So maybe Vlad, actually. So you have to ping this, okay? And you did that. You know all this wealth of information because you took the time to look at the map. Also, because you took the time to look at the map, you know that there aren't any ganks up here. Okay, that means that you don't have to spend any more time up here doing, wasting your time and shit. You can just continue to farm. You can go back to the bot side of the map and start farming because we know Sejuani isn't on this side of the map and there are no ganks available. Once again, because we know that Sejuani's over here, Nidalee makes the decision, or Rush makes the decision to go bot and take this camp. Okay, so he continues to farm. And he gets more vision over here. This whole process of him going 1, 2, 3 and then back to the bot side is because we took the time in the first 30 seconds of the game, or first minute, to deduce that, I don't even fucking know if that's a word. Sejuani started here, he's probably going to end up here. Because he's going to end up here, that means that there are 2 sides that he can gank, which is mid and bot. Because there are 2 sides that he's going to gank, we need to get vision to stop Sejuani from making this gank. So we get Scuttler. And then, because you also took the time while you're taking Scuttler to have like a, half a second, quarter of a second look at the map, we can see that they're having a fight right now. There's an easy picking right here. There's an easy kill. You can either flash in if you've got big balls, or you can try and chuck a spear, but essentially there's an easy kill right here, which is exactly what Nidalee does. He goes and tries to help out his team. Lo and behold, on the way, he found Sejuani. He just picks up a kill, picks up another kill, picks up another kill. All of this was up here. There is no mechanical, well, there's like maybe 20% mechanics to this act, but I was wrong. I think I said that the game was won in the first 7 minutes. It wasn't. It was won in the first 3 minutes, and especially this next move. But essentially, this was done because we tracked Sejuani's pathing, because we took the time to look at the minimap in the first, 30 seconds. We also saw that there are no ganks because we looked at the map while we were farming. Which means that you can just go back to farming down the side of the map because these camps are still up. And yeah, to do this, a technique, okay, like I said, while you're farming, just take the time to press this button or whatever and look at the lanes, see where the gankable lanes are, predict where Sejuani is, blah blah blah. You can also use your F keys. It doesn't work on this replay thing, but you can use your F keys to F1, F2, F3, F4. That's actually a technique that I learned from Last Shadow, and that's helped me out a shit ton. But yeah, look at the fucking minimap, please. The next strategy you need to know if you want to close out games super fast. This is what I call the wraparound gank. I don't know if other people call it, but I call it the wraparound gank. As you are aware, they just got 3 kills on the bottom side of the map. One of the most unconventional things to do, at least from Jin's perspective, is for Nidalee to come back 30 seconds later, okay? And this is something that you can do if you want to completely shut a lane down and essentially make it a 4v5, which is obviously going to increase your chances of winning. You do this gank. They just had the fight down here. He just spent all of his summoners. Nidalee made the most of that time. I think he took this camp right here, and then he's chucked a ward here. Now all he's got to do, all Rush has to do is play the waiting game. Chuck a vision up there. Wait for a little longer. Did he just flash? Oh, Hextech flash. Maybe? And look, now he's got another kill. It has been 4 minutes into the game, and bot lane is won. Okay, if these guys are smart, they can win off this. It's GG. There's no way that Jin and Thing are coming back. And essentially, this is just a simple way that you can completely shut down a lane. What you need to do is once you've performed the gank, okay, once you've done the gank and it was successful, either you blew the summoners or you got the kill, blah, 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 you can wait in the brush, or you can do some farming over here and wait for them again, and then when they come back to lane, you just kill them again, and you've shut them down. Their chance of coming back into the game is super low. It's probably not going to happen, and bot lane can win off of this one move, okay? So the wraparound gank. The third tip, is it third? Yeah, it is. No, it's fourth. The fourth tip that you want to be using if you want to close out games super fast is invade pressure. So after all of the past, you know, shenanigans, whatever frick you want to call it, these guys are completely down, right? We've shut them down like twice, and now Rush is 5-0. Because he is 5-0 and he is Nidalee, it's ridiculously crazy how strong he is right now. He has an item, like a full item, at frickin' 5 minutes. He has red buff. To keep the snowball going, you want to continue to take stuff. You want to continue to make plays, aggressive plays, that will help you get more gold, more objectives, more blah blah blah, more of everything, so you can slowly just continue to snowball. What Rush does is super smart. He understands the fact that he's super far ahead. I say super too many times. Where is my super suit? And then he gets some vision, and if there was no gank available top, he would start taking this. But there's a gank available top, and he goes for it. Bang, bang, bang. He takes the kill here. He takes this camp here. But essentially, he has put Gangplank down an extra kill. He's taken a camp away from Sejuani, and he also can force a fight here. When you're invading the enemy jungle because you're ahead, you want to get as much vision as possible. Just begin the act of invading the enemy jungle because you're so far ahead. And look, he can force fights like this. He takes this away. He understands that he was clearing the ward so he can, you know, force fights like this. And essentially, this is a way that you can not only get extra kills on the enemy jungle if you're ahead, but you can also take his camps away. From a jungler's perspective, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 camps, and you take away half of those every game. But not only do you take away half of them from the enemy jungle, you give them to yourself. So all of a sudden, it went from a 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 4-4 balance. You know, you have 4 camps, the enemy has 4 camps. But now you have 6 camps, the enemy has 2 camps. That's pretty much, if you do that for a prolonged period of time, it's essentially a 4v5. The enemy jungle is going to have to start doing things like take lane experience, or he's going to have to go for a gank, you know, a desperation gank, and then you're starving him of every chance of experience and gold that he has. Okay, so make sure that you invade, but also make sure that you're strong enough to do it. Okay, so you do the analysis. Whether you have red buff, whether you have an extra item, whether you have a level advantage, whether you have the matchup advantage, for example, Nidalee versus Sejuani, or someone like Kha'Zix versus Amumu, you know, you have a matchup advantage so you can go and invade. But yeah, that's the fourth strategy, is invading the enemy jungle. This is just a really quick mini clip as to why shutting the enemy jungle down through invading is so good. Remember that point I mentioned on desperation ganks? Rush placed this ward maybe like, whatever, a minute ago, a minute and a half ago or something, and Sejuani walks past it. He has red buff, but we also have red buff, and we have an extra item. We're like strong as fuck right now, so we shouldn't be scared to go and fight him, which is exactly why Rush takes this and then goes straight to fight Sejuani. So he's looking for him, blah blah blah. He's trying to find Sejuani right now. We know that he's around somewhere on this side of the map because we obviously just saw him clearing the ward. And Sejuani goes for a desperation gank. Mid lane. This is what I'm talking about. If the enemy jungle is starved of experience and camps and all that other stuff, he's going to do things to try and come back into the game. And if you capitalize off of those desperation ganks, you can honestly win like straight away. We'll check this out. Check this shit out. Goes for a gank. Nidalee was close. You know, Rush was close because we already saw that he was trying to force a fight. Sejuani goes for that quick gank. He gets a kill, blah, blah, blah. He gets double kill. So that's just a quick mini note about desperation ganks and why invades are so important. This is the last strategy that I'm going to be including in this video, and this strategy is called the milk it method. Reason why this is called the milk it method is because once you recognize that you have a particular lead or an advantage, for example, Sejuani just went for that, you know, that desperation gank, you shut it down. You want to milk it as much as possible, okay? You want to take as much as you can from the enemy team, and you want to make use of this opportunity while they're dead. And while mid and jungle are dead, you have a crazy opportunity for you to snowball the lead even further. For example, you could push this out and then you can take the turret. You can milk it even further. You don't just have to get the 2 kills, you can get the turret. Or if this camp was up, then Nidalee, you know, Rush could go and take this camp away and then take this camp away. But essentially what he does, he goes and takes, he tries to take wolves, he takes 2 camps away, he takes blue buff and he takes this one, and I think he gets dragon off this. Oh no, look, he takes 3 camps away. But that's the beauty of the milk it method, is that after there is a numbers advantage, you want to milk it as much as possible. You want to look for extra things that you can take. Okay, we ganked mid, can we go gank top? Or we ganked mid, can I go and take a few jungle camps away from the enemy? Or we ganked mid, or we ganked bot, can we go to dragon? There are just a shit ton more stuff that you can take other than just the kills itself, and this is like the surefire way to snowball the lead even further. You can take jungle camps, you can get vision control, which is huge, always get vision control. You can go for an extra kill, for example, if you kill mid, you know, like this particular situation, maybe you can get a gank bot, you can get dragon, you can get Rift Herald control. Just once you have these fights, look for things that you can you know, extra objectives and camps that you can take away from the enemy jungle and the enemy team.
So we're back. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, like if it helped you and if you learned something new, then I ask that you press the like button on the video below this, you know, with the thumbs up or whatever. The reason why I do that is because it helps me out a lot. I want to do my best to help give you guys the best content possible, and it helps me with YouTube search algorithms so that I can reach more people to help more people. So if you hit that like button, I freaking love you and I'll suck you off. The second thing that I ask you do, if there is one particular technique or strategy that I mentioned in this video that helped you the most, then comment below which strategy that was. For example, if you really enjoyed the part of, you know, watching the minimap as you're jungling, then write that down. Say, you know, the minimap watching helps me a lot, and I love you. No, jokes. And this is the last thing that I'm going to say. I'm going to be releasing a guide for any of you junglers watching this that will give you the exact content and the exact type of information that I know and that other junglers know. And this guide is going to be 1 to 2 hours, 1 to 3 hours long. It's going to be one of the most extensive and in-depth and step-by-step jungle guides for Season 8 that you could ever get your hands on. It's definitely going to be one of the best jungle guides on YouTube, in my opinion. And so if that's something that you're interested in, if you're interested in, you know, a jungle guide to take your jungling to the next level, it's going to teach you how to solo carry games and how to deal with feeding teammates and how to increase your chances of winning each game and how to climb elo pretty much as a jungler, then I ask that you, obviously you can, you know, subscribe to this YouTube channel or some shit for when that comes out. That's all I've got to say. If you have any questions, just put it in the comment box below. Have a good day. I love you. Stay beautiful. Shanabox.